Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a video for you guys from Seth the Programmer. This one talking about whether or not Sasuke could beat all of the Hokage. So let's go ahead and watch the video. I'm not going to waste any of your time. Just music.
In
Okay.
the past, I've done Could Naruto beat all of the Hokage, and you guys really liked that video. It's the most popular on my channel, pretty much. So I thought, why not do Sasuke versus all the Hokage as well? And I know what you're thinking. Won't the answer just be the same? Well, we do have a little bit of a surprise. We're also going to be going
Jesus.
over nerfed
Hold on.
Sasuke, the
Gotta-
current nerfed Sasuke, as well.
Gotta lower it,
Hokage,
cuz
see how he stacks up.
music.
Also, just be explaining and kind of giving a little update to what we think about that current pecking order. Also, it is a very special occasion. This video is gladly in support of Team C's. Team C's was made by Mr. Beast in hopes of following up on his Team Trees charity. So instead of planting trees, remove trash from the ocean. I'm sure you've seen many sad videos of numerous animals and aquatic life in the ocean being tortured by numerous types of garbage and pollution from people every single day, and the infamous garbage islands that are forming in the sea. Well, Team C's hopes to help solve this by allowing us to work almost directly with the Ocean Conservancy and the Ocean Cleanup nonprofit groups. And with your help, we can slowly help clean the oceans and honestly help clean our entire world. For every dollar donated, 1 pound of trash will be removed from the ocean. Let's try our best to help Team C's reach 30 million pounds of garbage removed from the ocean and help reduce the toxicity of human impact on our planet. I and everyone else sincerely do appreciate every donation for this. Thank you everyone, and I do hope you enjoyed the video. The links for this will be down below. But with me today, I do have my good friend.
Also, just so you know, guys, I will be leaving a link to Seth's channel and this video in the description box down below. So go click on the links to get to either the video or the channel, so you can head on over to the link that they have in the description box down below to see if you want to support the cause.
Friend Swag Kage, and we thought we'd do a little collab on this. We're also going to be following up with this video. At the end, you should go over to his channel, and he's going to be talking about how strong is Naruto now that he's nerfed a lot of people.
A video that I already have up on my channel, by the way, if you want to go check it out.
So why don't you just start us off then?
We'll split this up into multiple rounds, and round one is going to be the same as the Naruto versus the Hokage video, where it's like Sasuke at full power, as the strongest that we know him as, versus all the different Hokage. And you can include Naruto here if you want. I guess we could do like a sub round, like round 1A without Naruto and round 1B with Naruto.
Right.
And then like the second round would be like what? Full power Sasuke versus all the Hokage, including nerfed Naruto. And then like round 3 would be like nerfed Sasuke versus all the Hokage and nerfed Naruto.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense.
Okay.
Okay.
The first round is like, for some reason,
This
and
is
it
not
depends on
including
who
I-
you ask.
Not including
Yeah,
Naruto.
I mean, I think it's kind of obvious Sasuke would just destroy all of them. It's not even a contest.
the first round is not including Naruto, but for some reason, and this varies depending on who you ask, but this is still fairly contentious. Like
Yeah, I mean,
but Sasuke, like, it's not close. All the Hokage just get shredded, right?
Right.
Because Hashirama, as strong as he is
He's not doing anything. I'm sorry.
Naruto and
I
Sasuke
know there's some
massively
Hashirama fans who are not going to be happy about that, but it's true.
He absorbed 6 paths Madara, and he was way stronger than the Madara that fought and almost killed Hashirama.
Yeah.
Tobirama is just blatantly weaker than Hashirama. Hiruzen is like, I mean, for the purposes of this, like, we don't really have to precisely scale Hiruzen. Old man Hiruzen is like based on feats like weaker than Tobirama in the war, but even if you wanted to use prime Hiruzen, even if you wank him just like at best barely above Hashirama or whatever, Minato's just not as fast as Sasuke. Tsunade, I don't think we have to go into
So,
Tsunade.
we can-
Yeah, it's just what. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
I'll say we can even just go into what all of them have done and just compare it to Madara, you know?
Yeah.
So, you take
Oh
Hashirama.
man, because
Hashirama
everyone
is-
excuse him of being a Madara
I think
fanboy.
Madara
I mean, he is, but
I think Madara was actually stronger than Hashirama, but due to Hashirama's
it was Hashirama's,
generation
yeah.
and Madara's high chakra consumption, that Hashirama
And also the fact that he had wood style, which is shown to be incredibly broken. It's not even funny.
There's many panels in the original Naruto that show Hashirama takes massive battle damage, such as when he's talking to the Nine Tails, and then at the end of the battle, when he kills Madara, all those cuts and bleeds, the bleeding is gone, flying. Hashirama was messed up many times by Madara, whereas Madara, just kind of like Sasuke, couldn't regenerate, so he never got messed up like that. From what we know, the way he looks at the end is all the damage he took. So Hashirama and Madara are pretty in the same tier, and we know Tobirama is just blatantly weaker than Hashirama, stated over and over and over again. In fact, Tobirama is borderline featless outside of fighting old Hiruzen as an Edo and his tandem paper boss.
Also, this is weird. Look, I want you to look at something. So this is supposed to be Edo Tobirama, right? Look at his eyes. He doesn't have the Edo Tensei eyes. That was something I think Kishimoto added in later on during the war arc.
Old Hiruzen as an Edo and his tandem paper bombs. You can use an Edo Tensei, but we're assuming he's alive,
See?
so he doesn't have
Edo
his
eyes.
tandem paper bombs, so that doesn't even apply. Minato was able to, chop through, say, Raikage A, say, really high ball. Say he's like Killer B, full 8 tails level. He can chop through him with the kunai, and he has the Rasengan. He also has like a 9 tails level ceiling jutsu. He doesn't really compare to Madara either, and I actually made a Minato versus Madara video you guys can check out in the description as well. Hiruzen in his prime, even if you wank him really badly, if you take the whole he's the strongest ever, he would just be arbitrarily stronger than Hashirama, and we have no idea.
Like he's just
he's
not like 6 paths level.
No, not even
Like,
close.
there's nothing to imply that, and like. So, like, I mean, I don't think we have to explain this for anybody.
I
It's
mean-
mostly going to be, like, the edgy viewers who are like, wow, So, like, when he looks at Jubito for the first time, he describes Jubito as, like, like this totally, like, alien thing.
Mhm.
He's never encountered anything that can use this kind of, like, jutsu before, and the power's on a completely different level. And I'm pretty sure that was, like, pre-stabilization, too.
Yes.
So it was, like baby mode Jubito. So... to say that, and like we can like draw like a quick like tower of escalation, I guess, like a little staircase here to walk you through how many levels apart this Jubito is from Madara. So you have like that Jubito, and then you have the stabilized Ten Tails Obito, and then arguably, if you take the volume statements into account, this is a really annoying argument to have, but arguably Sage Mode Madara is above that. With like the back of the volume statement, it calls him the strongest enemy of all time.
Well,
if you want to skip that,
I mean, I wouldn't take statements like that as fact, because people in Japan do like to hyperbolize certain things to hype up certain things, whether it's movies or shows. So they tell you, oh, they're about to go up against the strongest enemy ever. You really want to see this? So I wouldn't take that as fact, that because if they say he's the strongest ever, then is he stronger than Kaguya? Is he stronger than Momoshiki? Is he stronger than Kinshiki? Is he stronger than Ishiki? You got to think about those things.
then above Obito, you have the first form Ten Tails Madara,
One-eyed
with
Rinnegan Madara, yeah.
And then above that, you have God Tree Madara.
God Tree
and
Ma-
then
yeah, with
above
2 eyes.
that, you have double Rinnegan.
Oh no,
God
that's
Tree
God Tree Ma- yeah,
which is who
that's-
Naruto and Sasuke fought.
Yeah.
So it's like, you see how many levels like removed we are from this character, that like we're not comparing like old man Hiruzen to him. Hiruzen was just like, whoa, I've like never seen anything like this before. So even at his like peak, at his prime, Hiruzen would have been below like baby mode Jubito, who's not even close to being as strong as Sasuke. And,
No.
and that should also tell you everything you need to know if you're still a little bit skeptical about whether or not Hashirama would be able to fight him, like just how far apart Sasuke and Naruto are from people like that.
Right. So the other thing with Hiruzen is there is a statement that he's the strongest ever of the Sarutobi clan back around when Boruto first
Excuse me.
began, give or take, which would basically mean he's stronger than Boruto Konohamaru. But that Konohamaru is pretty featless. All we know about him is that Kashin Koji can kind of just no-diff him. He calls him impressive, but he's just like, hey, I can kind of handle you, no problem, kind of almost off-screen. So
I do kind of wish we would see more from Konohamaru. It does kind of suck that in the manga, he's almost non-existent, and in the anime, it's like he does have some pretty impressive feats, but in my opinion, kind of not enough to live up to his potential, which does kind of suck.
So it's not really really that impressive. With Tsunade, she's more of a rival for Raikage A, which is absolutely nothing to even blind Madara, let alone Six Paths Madara or Hashirama. Now, Hokage Kakashi is a little bit weird. So the thing about Hokage...
Yeah, this is actually funny because a lot of people write him off.
So I just gotta pause it every now and then for, copyright, because YouTube's copyright is insane.
Like he's like the weakest Hokage, but actually, according to the novel, he's like way stronger than he was in the war, which was like insane.
So in the novels, Kakashi's actually stronger than ever.
Now, whether or not he's stronger than when he had the dual Mangekyo and the Perfect Susanoo is kind of debatable, but he is stronger than he was in his base. I think we can say that.
So he's stronger than when he fought Madara and Obito. Not DMS, per se, but he is stronger. Yeah. It's implied his Sharingan, since he doesn't have it, doesn't drain his chakra anymore. So he has more access to reserves of power. He learns the Purple Lightning Shinden, which is his strongest jutsu at the moment that we know of. As well as the fact that maybe you could even use a rationalist argument, the current Kage are able to fight things like Kinshiki and Momoshiki, so, maybe, Kakashi, if he power cliffed with them, and the Hokage is supposed to be the apex of the world, thematically, that maybe Kakashi, if he was in the realm, maybe he could have thrown hands with Kinshiki and Momoshiki as well, if you really wanted to be charitable. And I think something that might also support that is you have old man, retired Kakashi.
So I just want to say something real quick when it comes to this. When it comes to Guy still being in a wheelchair, are you telling me that no one thought that, hey, maybe we could take off your leg and give you a replacement so that you'd be able to walk again? None of them thought that, hey, just help the guy walk again, instead of sitting in a wheelchair. I mean, come on, that's just mean.
Old man, retired Kakashi. He's not actually that old, but he's retired. He's just vacationing. He's not even in the manga at the moment, but but he actually confronts.
Yeah, I've always wondered, why isn't he in the manga? I mean, in the anime, you see him a buttload of times, but in the manga, he's almost non-existent, which I always thought is weird.
And Koji basically just has to give him the slip. He doesn't just quickly knock him out or something. So you could make an argument that maybe Kakashi's still Boruto tier Kage level. But the problem with that is that, as Swag can get into, compared to even base Naruto, that's
he's not really not that impressive compared to base Naruto.
The thing, right, that remember the little staircase I illustrated earlier? That only takes us up to Fourth War Rinnegan Sasuke. Yeah. Not Boruto era Sasuke. And so there are a little bit more steps that we can take here, where we get to Three-Eyed Madara is above the Madara that they fought. And then Naruto and Sasuke both obviously get stronger throughout the Kaguya fight.
Yeah, as we've seen in the fight.
Powers, so they're above the Naruto and Sasuke that fought Madara. And then there's the Naruto and Sasuke
from the last, I do kind of wish we would have seen more stories that take place during this era. It still kind of sucks that we don't get to see it. And by the way, the novels don't really count, or the I think it's just the novels. Yeah, the novels don't count. I do kind of wish we would have gotten maybe a mini comic that takes place during the last, either of one of Sasuke's adventures, or Naruto as an adult, or Kakashi, or just any of the other characters during the last era. I kind of wish we would have more stories set during this time.
So Neri may or may not be stronger than Madara. That's a different video, but we won't get into that here. But I think everybody can agree that obviously Naruto and Sasuke are stronger in the last than they were at the end of Shippuden. And then, obviously, they are even stronger in Boruto. And a lot of people still argue about this. But I think it's been widely accepted now at this point that Momoshiki is at least relative to Kaguya.
He's stronger.
Think that Kaguya would body him or something, which I think is a little ridiculous.
Again, you have to remember, they do make it kind of clear that Momoshiki is stronger than Kaguya. By the way, sorry if you can hear something outside. I don't know what's going on. But Yeah, I think if I remember, even in one of the novels, I think it was the Boruto movie novelization, where Sasuke took a look at Momoshiki and Kinshiki and said that, yeah, Kaguya would not be able to do anything against these two. She wouldn't be able to. So yeah, that's pretty much definitive proof that Kaguya is just not beating, uh, not beating Momoshiki or Kinshiki. I'm sorry.
But he's described as a threat, or he and Kinshiki are described as a threat greater than Kaguya. And the reason why Momoshiki is relevant here is because like base Naruto fights not like base 50% Momoshiki, but like I think it's fused Momoshiki, but
Yes.
he's only at 50% power, right?
Yeah, Naruto has half power, and
Oh no, Naruto's at 50%.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, Naruto's
And
the one at
he's
50%,
fighting
and Momoshiki's
fused
still at
Momoshiki,
100%.
And we're not given any indication that Momoshiki is holding back
No.
at that moment in time. That's right.
Yeah.
Right, I got it backwards. And keep in mind, this is in base. This isn't like Sage Mode, KCM1, or anything. Like base Naruto is fighting him, and it's not like Naruto's getting beaten up or whacked around or anything.
No.
Like Naruto's actually performing
Yeah.
pretty well.
Again,
Like,
I,
it seems
I, I
impressive.
gotta pause it every now and then because anime clips.
If I didn't know who these characters were and I took a look at these pages, I'd be like, oh, okay. So
they're like relative
like
or something.
yeah, exactly. And Naruto and Sasuke at full power are
Hmm.
clearly like
Well,
illustrated as like implied.
Full power-ish. Full power-ish. We gotta remember because they're still not operating at 100%. Naruto, we saw Momoshiki absorb like 50% of his chakra and 50% of Kurama's chakra, so he still wouldn't be at 100%. And then you have Sasuke, who a lot of his chakra was already drained, opening the portal to this dimension and bringing a lot of people with him, which used up even more chakra. So neither of them were operating at 100%, and yet they still clapped Momoshiki. Think about that.
To be rivals throughout Boruto. I think that this is pretty much the closest in power they've ever been.
Yeah.
And that hasn't changed. Like, that's very intentional. And so, like, when Naruto goes into... Some people think it's KCM2. Some people think it's Six Path Sage Mode.
It's not even relevant, and
That's what I was
It's Six Path Sage Mode, but just to clarify, it was Six Path Sage Mode.
going to say. Whatever you want to call
Because again, the eyes. Let's see if I can bring it. Because you can see the eyes, no pigmentation. That means Six Path Sage Mode.
Say whatever you want to call it. When he goes full power, he and Sasuke are still relative. And yet, when he was in like base, which is way weaker than his full power mode, and at 50% power at that, he was keeping up with Fused Momoshiki. No. Let me admit, obviously, Fused Momoshiki was way stronger than that because
Yeah,
it did
still
take
stronger.
Naruto and Sasuke fighting him together at full power to actually beat him. But like the fact that Naruto was able to like do anything. I mean, he put up a better fight than any of the other Kage like put together, right? Like they weren't really even scratching Momoshiki. Meanwhile, he was like dodging Momoshiki's attacks, actually like damaging him, knocking him back and stuff. So they're way beyond where they were in Shippuden at this point.
I think just an easy indicator. For one, for Toneri, there are some weird guides that imply he might even be stronger than Kaguya, but we won't get into that.
Yeah.
But I think at a very just basic level, even if you think Kaguya beats Momoshiki per se, I think at a very base level, we could all agree.
She's not
Kaguya
beating
knows
Momoshiki,
about
but
Momoshiki
out of curiosity.
and Momoshiki, and she is scared of them still. Now, maybe she thinks that they're gonna jump her, and she's slightly stronger than one, and it's 2v1, so she's gonna lose. But regardless of that, Naruto is then fighting them put together. These guys that scare Kaguya put together at 50% power. Okay, in base, and then at full power he gives him the hand.
Sorry, you guys know why.
Sasuke
You don't need me to
is
explain it to you.
also extremely nerfed because he uses his teleportation jutsu,
Yeah.
which we know uses a ton of chakra, especially earlier on in Boruto. So
Yeah.
Naruto and Sasuke are both extremely nerfed when they're fighting this guy who would give Kaguya, a sweat on her brow. So even if you think Naruto and Sasuke somehow don't have six paths, or maybe you think for some reason they're nerfed, they're still incredibly powerful and still able to run Kaguya's fade. And it's implied, in Ishiki's realm that he believes that Kaguya's evolution is similar to Momoshiki's level as well, which sort of supports why Kaguya might have been somewhat timid of them, because obviously someone on her level is coming with backup, they're gonna come run
Yeah.
her hands. So
Well,
Yeah.
like another thing too that's impressive about that Momoshiki fight is that I think it's either implied or stated. It's been a while since I read the chapters, but that Naruto is holding back significantly so he doesn't blow up the whole village.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's like if he goes all out recklessly, like I mean, like you guys saw their fight in the final valley.
Yeah, it was pretty insane.
Shit was exploding everywhere,
Exactly.
dude.
By statues.
So, like Naruto can't do that. He has to restrict himself to close quarters combat mostly. Really concentrate to make sure his jutsu don't create massive explosions.
Yeah, Sasuke himself even
flying
said
off
it.
somewhere. So and again, like this guy is bare minimum, at least relative to.
Yeah, see, Sasuke himself even says it right here. Let's see if I can. Yeah, and Sasuke says it here. He could easily obliterate that thing if he wanted to, but he had to hold himself back because it would cause a lot of collateral damage to the village and, of course, the people.
Bare minimum, at least relative to Kaguya,
Hmm.
who is totally, like, completely out of the reach of any of the first 6 Hokage, with the arguable exception of Kakashi, but like
I don't think there's enough evidence yet to say Kakashi could run hands with
Yeah.
use Momoshiki yet. So,
like the
yeah.
best piece of evidence is that Kashin Koji anime only scene, but like if Kakashi was still that strong, why didn't he come help fight Momoshiki?
So there is an implication that Kakashi's not in the manga because he has some very secret, big plot device thing going on right now that is going to be revealed. At least that was admitted by Kishimoto and
It was a
Kodachi
move.
and all of that.
So, if you guys know, let me know where that is, because I don't remember hearing about this. That's the reason why Kakashi's not in the manga. So, let me know if you can
But
find it.
At the moment, we just don't have any evidence or know-how,
Yeah.
so we can't argue. him
Yeah,
there.
we can't.
Now, for
We don't know how
Kaguya
strong he
fans
is
that know
now.
My channel, I've downplayed Kaguya quite a bit, but I am starting to come to terms that she's kind of Momoshiki-ish level, rather than just being blatantly, she would get fodderized or something.
I would still say
But
Momoshiki
Kaguya's benefit
would win.
As well, something else I think needs to be exaggerated is when Three-Eyed Madara is turning into Kaguya, what happens is all of the energy collected from the infinite Tsukuyomi starts blowing out of the earth. And then Naruto and Sasuke are like, what is this energy? And Naruto says, this energy is even greater than the Ten Tails.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people
Yeah.
thought Madara transforming was something that was above the Ten Tails, but no. Naruto's talking about the energy coming out of the ground into Madara. So Kaguya absorbs greater than Ten Tails level energy on top of Three-Eyed Madara, and that's how strong she is. So imagine
like Sasuke describes it as like a completely different level.
Yeah.
He didn't even think it was possible for someone like this to exist.
Yeah, and the chakra is so massive that Madara's 10-tail 6-pad Senjutsu body explodes because it's so much energy. So imagine if Three-Eyed Madara, Three-Eyed 6-pad 10-tailed Madara, got a second 10-tails Jinchuriki amp, and that's Kaguya, right? And so the fact that Momoshiki can scare that girl is insane. There's just so let's run through even the haxes. Is there any hacks Tobirama can do to that?
No.
No. Is there
Also,
any-
this is just wrong.
Tobirama
Come
has,
on.
like teleportation, right? And it's
Yeah.
like the same thing with Minato. Like that's their big thing is that they can teleport. Well,
But so can Sasuke.
Yes.
Like, what the hell?
So it's like, who cares?
right? And Sasuke was also fast enough to catch 6 paths Madara as well.
Mhm.
But the other
Yeah.
one too is Minato. Could Minato maybe Reaper Death Seal? Well, no, he can't because from what we can tell, he thinks the Nine Tails is such an insane, massive.
It was
power
such
that
an
he
insane
can't
amount of
even
chakra. It
seal
was-
into one body, let alone the 10 Tails. He might not even be able to Reaper Death Seal the 10 Tails, let alone
Yeah.
6 paths adult Sasuke or Momoshiki or Kaguya. Hashirama struggles with base Madara, so
Yeah.
obviously he's nothing compared to 6 paths. Hiruzen, from what we know, he should have no reason to be able to do anything crazy either. Tsunade is probably the weakest link, funny enough.
Yeah.
Because she has like basically she can heal them, but it doesn't.
That would be the only thing.
Yeah,
right?
it doesn't
Yeah.
really matter.
I don't think it's gonna
And
be effective
Kakashi,
now.
which he's just too unknown.
Yeah,
All
we don't
about
know
him is
much
that
about
he's
him.
Probably Kage level, and which is weaker than Fusion Momoshiki. So, yeah. So Sasuke does win that first round pretty hardcore. there's just Sasuke could pretty much just genjutsu all of them, like he did the Bijou, right? Basically.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think it would actually just be that, right? Like,
Yeah.
just, and then they're all in Shibaku
Just
Sensei.
Shibaku Sensei.
or he literally just glances at all of them like the Bijou, and then he just Shibaku
Yeah.
Senseis, and they all float away.
Or he could just kill him right then and there.
We don't even have to get into like the weird stuff, like the soul dragon or like whatever, right? Because like you said, it's just like, because I mean, none of them have resistance to that. Like
No,
even if you
I don't see how they'd be
get
able to
into,
defend
like,
themselves against that.
sheer, like physical dominance, right? Like just how much more chakra he has than them, how much harder he hits than them, how much faster he is than them. None of them have resistance to that kind of genjutsu, except for Sasuke. So
Yeah, you remember how the 5 Kage saw Madara's perfect Susanoo, and they're like, "What is this?
What the
power?
fuck are we gonna
And
do
they
against
gave up
this
and died.
shit?"
That's pretty much what would happen if Sasuke ever did that as well. Like they literally just could
Yeah.
never touch him at all. They couldn't even hurt him. So at best, he might be able to say, "Well, maybe Hashirama can absorb his chakra, but
Would he even
you
be
have no
able to? I don't know if he'd be able to at that point.
he could absorb that much chakra.
Yeah.
let alone-
Yeah.
So, or even do enough damage to Sasuke to even get him to that point. So yeah, unlikely.
So now, if you throw Naruto into the mix, it just becomes a question really of like, could Sasuke beat Naruto?
Yeah.
And we've already said that they're relatives, so
Yeah, it's just
I mean,
it's
like,
just
it-
Naruto with the Hokage in the background. So
yeah, they would just like
Yeah, they're Naruto and Sasuke are off having their god battle. The Hokage are just sitting somewhere sipping some tea and watching the show.
sit over there on the.
Because they're like, how the fuck are we supposed to
what
fight
Cell
with this?
expected
Yeah.
the Cell games to be, right? Like
Hmm.
Goku shows up, fights him, loses, and then it's over.
The only thing
I kind of be like that.
the only thing I can imagine is maybe Sasuke might steal their chakra to amp himself, but other than that,
So what I will say about that is it's like weird because it seems like it's like a big ass multiplier. Like it's not a linear increase. Like he doesn't get a 9 tails, 8 tails, 7 tails, etc. stronger. He gets like way stronger. It's like an amp greater than the sum of its parts.
Yeah, it's like all of their chakra coming together to amp him up.
Hokage's chakra, it could be, but like I think the other thing too is you could easily argue that the only reason the Bijou chakra worked like that was because they were originally part of the Ten Tails. It was even stated that he was like using his Susanoo as a pseudo Ghetto Mazo, so it might not even amp him at all.
Here's-
like
Also, I would like to point out there's a mistake here. You can see Naruto still has those 3 Truth-seeking orbs behind him, but realistically he shouldn't have that anymore because he used those when fighting against Sasuke.
here's another thing we know now that Naruto can do. If it's controller up his butt, Naruto, you can
Just go into Baryon mode.
literally
So,
murder
Sasuke
stomp.
gets
Yeah.
bodied.
So yeah, I guess the next one is then like fatigue. Well, nerf to Sasuke versus nerf Naruto. So what do you think about that?
Well, I guess a good question is, do we still think that nerfed Sasuke could beat all of the Hokage?
I would say so.
The answer is yes.
Yeah, I would say so.
Like, he's weaker, and he doesn't have the Rinnegan abilities, but like we said earlier, 50% base Naruto was fighting Fusion Momoshiki.
Hmm.
And so Seth and I talked about this specifically earlier. We know that EMS is, like, apparently a bigger amp.
Oh,
than Sage
yeah,
mode.
I can go into that. Sorry.
Yeah.
So that basically, if you think Naruto and Sasuke are equal in base, and then their respective transformations are equal in level, maybe that's like the ultimate thing going on, then EMS Sasuke should be still insanely powerful because
Yeah.
the EMS is
Oh,
stronger than Sage Mode in the war pretty directly. EMS is able to take a Burning Ash from reanimated
yeah.
Madara, not reanimated, sorry, but alive Madara.
Yeah, a live Madara, who remember is confirmed to be stronger than the Edo, and this isn't the same Madara that fought against Hashirama at the Valley of the End. This is the same this is Madara who grafted Hashirama's DNA onto his body, so he got a severe amp. So he's stronger than the Final Valley version of himself, and yet he used the jutsu against Naruto, Sasuke, and Sai. Sai and Naruto were blown back, and Sasuke was just standing there taking it like it was nothing. And Naruto, in Sage mode, was blown back, going, Jesus Christ, ow, this is hot. So you could say, yeah, EMS Sasuke could be actually stronger than even Sage Mode Naruto.
Madara, whereas Naruto's like, oh holy hell, that was hot. He's like blown away. Whereas EMS Sasuke doesn't even flinch. It's not even
Yeah.
Susanoo out.
See, he's just like
Skin.
confused.
And
What's
the other
going
thing
on?
we know about even one-eyed Mangekyo Sharingan or EMS Sasuke is that since blind Madara can do it, this one-eyed Sasuke can not only use Amaterasu still.
Also, I want to point out that again, I mentioned this in a previous video, but in case you're new and you might not know this, but Sasuke using Amaterasu with his right eye is a plot hole because his right eye doesn't allow him to cast Amaterasu. It's his left eye which got destroyed. So realistically, Sasuke shouldn't even be able to cast Amaterasu at all because, I mean, unless he gets like a replacement to be able to use Amaterasu, but at this point he shouldn't have been able to use that ability. So this is actually an inconsistency right here.
Genjutsu still, but he can also use his Susanoo
Yeah.
still. It's probably his perfect Susanoo with one eye. So now you have perfect Susanoo, one-eyed Sasuke versus Sage Mode Naruto, no cloak. And it's really, it's really not implied that Sage Mode is, fighting perfect Susanos. It was kind of implied that Sage Mode was more of a rival to MS or the no-footed Susanoo during the Hokage summits rather than the walking ones or the perfect Susanoo, at least throughout the medias. But I'll let you go into
You
detail.
could maybe argue that Sasuke can't go perfect because Madara can
I guess.
foot like Susanoo.
Yeah.
Without his eyes. We'll probably know more in the future, unless
Right.
Naruto
Yeah,
and Sasuke
unless
just
they come on,
die,
don't do this.
before like we get their powers revealed, and then
Yeah.
it's just like endless speculation about this sort of thing. Without Naruto there, I don't think that the result is all that different because Sasuke just like power cliffs them really
Yes.
hard. Because even without his MS or his Rinnegan, he's like relative to base Naruto, who, like we said, was fighting Momoshiki at half power.
Stronger than the
So-
Kage.
Like he would just like blitz them all and like cut them up with his sword.
Can I say something else that supports as well is one-eyed EMS Sasuke was considered a massive threat to 80% Borushiki.
Yeah,
So
that's also true.
in the manga, it's implied.
And also, I would like to, I'll let him finish. Sorry, I'll let him
Sasuke's
finish.
Stronger than Borushiki, actually, at 80%. So if you consider a vesseled Otsutsuki or an Otsutsuki revised in a vessel stronger than ever, then this 80% Momoshiki is stronger than he was before. And
Yeah,
Sasuke
think
is
that
stronger. So
I think
Yeah, okay, so I just want to point this out, and I think a lot of people are kind of ignoring just how impressive this makes Sasuke. So Momoshiki himself even says in this panel that he may be wounded, but I still won't walk away unharmed if I face him head on. And he even talks about how I can't afford to let my guard down with him. So think about this. This is a Sasuke who is nowhere near full strength. A lot of his chakra already used up because of the fight with Ishiki. And not to mention, he took a severe beating from Ishiki himself, at one point even getting stabbed multiple times by those chakra rods. And he still was a threat to Momoshiki, who, as they said, could be even stronger than he was when he originally fought them during the Momoshiki arc. Like, that is insane. That shows you just how strong Sasuke actually is. So it does make me wonder, what if he fought Sasuke, who was 100% healthy, no Rinnegan, but 100% healthy, full chakra? I don't think Momoshiki would have been able to survive. I think he would have actually died.
and
Yeah, I
Sasuke
think
is
that
stronger. So
I think it's implied that Borushiki is stronger than Momoshiki.
Yeah.
Just because like he was able to just straight up yeet Sasuke in the eye, which Momoshiki was like never able to do anything like that. And granted, you could argue he caught Sasuke off guard or whatever, but like the dude has an EMS and a Rinnegan, so like
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like
Yeah,
he's
it's still
probably, like,
stupid. It's
fine
still
with
dumb.
his ability to perceive him.
Regardless,
Yeah.
though, Sasuke is very strong still.
Yeah.
The main debate is how strong is Naruto, but I think we can go way more into detail about how strong base Naruto is on Swag's channel. But yeah, I think for now we can just say, round one, if Sasuke was in Naruto's position as in the first video, he just stomps. If it was Sasuke versus, full power Naruto, he would just bury in mode if he had a controller up his ass.
Yeah.
So you just win. And then And, you know, third, if Sasuke, even while nerfed, is still stronger than all those Kage, from what we know. And base Naruto Sage Mode is probably weaker than the perfect Susanoo, although it is debatable if he can use the perfect Susanoo, but he should still use, like, the footed Susanoo, like Madara. In fact, he should be able to use something a little bit stronger than Madara, because Madara was blind. At least Sasuke has one eye.
He didn't even have one eye.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. So Sasuke pretty much wins 2 out of 3 with the Barian mode just kind of stopping him in the middle. So hope you guys enjoyed that video. Do look forward to a